Ghost's grip on his wrist felt like ice and electricity combined. The moment their skin touched, Kael felt something crack open between them, not a drain, but a recognition. Two survivors of the same kind of wound, staring across the gulf of shared trauma. Her flickering stopped completely. For the first time since entering the room, Mira Chen looked solid, present, real. The haunted look in her dark eyes sharpened into focus. "You're not him," she whispered, her voice carrying surprise and something that might have been relief. "Similar signature, but different. Younger. Less integrated." Chen, release the cadet immediately. Okafor's command carried the weight of absolute authority, but Ghost ignored him. Her attention remained fixed on Kael with laser intensity. "How long?" she asked. "How long what? How long since it bonded to you? Since the fragment crawled into your head and made itself at home?" The frequency whispered urgently, "Tactical error. Disclosure compromises operational security. Recommend immediate disengagement." 3 weeks, Kael said quietly. Around them, he could feel Sable and Okafor exchanging glances. This conversation was revealing too much, but he couldn't stop. Something about Ghost's hollow stare demanded honesty. She nodded as if his answer confirmed her worst fears. "I had 2 years. 2 years of being the strongest phase walker at Meridian. Could slip between dimensions like walking through doorways. Reality was negotiable when I was involved." Her grip tightened, and Kael felt an echo of what she'd lost. Phasing abilities that had once let her exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Powers that made her nearly untouchable in combat. The kind of mastery that took decades to develop. "Then he came," she continued, her voice flat with remembered pain. "Called himself Petrov. Tall, blonde, spoke with a slight accent. Professional. Polite. Said he was investigating zone anomalies for research division." Okafor went very still. "Luka Petrov? You know him?" Ghost's form flickered once, surprise disrupting her control. "I know of him. He went missing from Division Omega 6 months ago. Presumed killed in a zone expansion." Okafor's prosthetic hand clenched into a fist. "Apparently, he's been busy." Ghost's laugh was sharp and bitter. "Busy collecting. That's what the thing in his head called it, collecting. Like we were specimens for some cosmic museum." She released Kael's wrist but remained close enough that he could see the faded scars along her fingers. Burns from phasing accidents, he realized. The kind of damage that happened when abilities malfunctioned during dimensional shifts. "He studied our team for 3 days," she continued. "Observed our training exercises. Made notes in a tablet only he could see, the same kind of interface you've got crawling behind your thoughts. Then, on the 4th night, he started hunting." The room felt smaller suddenly, the walls closing in as Ghost painted the picture of methodical predation. Kael could see it too clearly, another fragment bearer moving through a military facility like a wolf among sheep. Sarah Martinez went first. Combat conductor, specialized in hardlight weapons. He cornered her in the armory and took everything. Left her catatonic. Ghost's form wavered again, memory disrupting her concentration. Then James Coe. Weaver class, molecular manipulation. Found him 3 hours later, couldn't even change the temperature of water anymore. Sable stepped closer, her tactical mind processing the implications. How many did he drain? 17. Ghost's voice cracked slightly on the number. 17 resonance reduced to empty shells. The fragment in his head grew stronger with each one. More talkative. Started calling him by name instead of just feeding him statistics. Familiar progression pattern, the frequency observed with clinical interest. Fragment 5 demonstrates expected behavioral evolution. Concerning that it achieved verbal communication so quickly. What happened to him? Kael asked, though part of him already knew. Ghost's eyes had gone flat and cold, the look of someone who'd made a terrible decision and learned to live with it. I killed him. Her voice carried no emotion, just statement of fact. Took 3 days of planning. Had to phase shift a grenade into his chest cavity while he was sleeping. Even then, it almost didn't work. The fragment tried to jump to me as he died. She pulled up her sleeve, revealing burned scars that spiraled from her wrist to her elbow. That's what stopped it. I phased my arm out of reality while it was trying to attach. Tore the connection apart, but... She flexed her fingers, and they flickered transparent for a moment. Cost me half my abilities in the process. The silence stretched between them, heavy with implications. Another fragment bearer, still active. 17 victims. A pattern of systematic harvesting that made Kael's own drains look restrained by comparison. You're different, Ghost said finally, studying his face with those 2 old eyes. The hunger's there, but you're fighting it. Petrov had given up fighting by the end. Let the fragment make all his choices. She stepped back, her form stabilizing as she reached some internal decision. So here's my question, Kael Morrow, she said, her voice carrying the weight of 17 ghosts. Are you going to be like him? Or are you going to prove you're still human enough to matter? Before he could answer, Ghost tilted her head slightly, listening to something only she could hear. Her expression shifted from challenging to alarmed. How did you survive? Kael asked. If he was that powerful, how did you? Ghost looked at him with dead eyes that had seen too much. The one who drained me didn't survive. I made sure of that. Her smile was sharp as broken glass. You're next if you don't prove you're different. The lights in Okafor's office flickered. And in the distance, barely audible through the outpost's reinforced walls, came the sound of sirens.